Friends, in the beginning of the story we see a man named Scott, who was going to his home the next morning after working all night. Then on the way he sees a flower seller, from whom he buys a flower to give to his girlfriend. Actually today he wanted to surprise his girlfriend by going home early from work. Later when he reaches his home with those flowers, then he sees his girlfriend Stanford there, who was working in her field with a plumber. Now Stanford gets scared after seeing Scott, and she tries to explain to him that, darling, I was just measuring the depth of my cave, and there is nothing like that between us. But Scott's mind turns after seeing this, and he tells her that it is because of women like you that decent men like us get defamed. Now get up your ass and get out of here. Scott gets sad after seeing this act of his girlfriend, because the pink flower which he was considering his own, who knows how many people had shed their sweat by working as laborers. Welcome to our channel Maxi Blunt. Now let's start the story again. Now from here the story shifts to Jinn's story. We see that there were many jinns living in Jinn, and their job was to change the fate of humans. All of them had different kinds of powers, using which they used to help humans. Now here we see their leader Donald, who calls a genie to him. The name of this genie was Beauty, and she looked very beautiful and sexy. Now Donald calls her and shows her a contract, in which it was written that now it is Beauty's turn to go to Earth. So now she has to go there and change the fate of humans. But seeing this, Beauty tells Donald that no, I do not want to go to Earth, because the people of Earth are very greedy and stupid. The men there become crazy to play with the pinky of any beautiful girl as soon as they see her. Donald tells her that you have not done any good to any human till date. That is why you have to go to Earth at least once. Along with this, he also tells her that the people of Earth are very stupid. That is why they will easily agree to all your words. At the most, they can ask you for wealth and your pinky, and I know that you will fulfill this wish of theirs easily, because even in the Jinn world, there is no man left who has not played with your pinky. Now Beauty did not want to go to Earth, but on Donald's insistence she comes to Earth. And as soon as she reaches there she hides in a lamp. That night Scott comes to a party with his two friends, in which the name of the white friend was Black, while the name of the black friend was White. Meanwhile Scott sees a girl in the party. On seeing her his tool stands up and salutes her. The name of this girl was Diana. Scott comes to her to talk to her, and tries to befriend her. But Diana was not giving him even a slight attention. After drinking a lot of alcohol in the party Scott goes and sits near a beach. We see that a man named Paris was also sitting with him, who used to work as a garbage collector on the beach. Then seeing Scott drunk, Paris starts taking out something from his bag. He takes out a sheet from it, and gives it to Scott and goes away from there. Scott sees that Paris had given him the lamp along with the bedsheet, which he had picked up thinking it was junk. Now Scott holds the lamp in a drunken state, and says that I wish I could play with the pinkies of two girls at the same time. Saying this, he sleeps there itself. Then the next morning when Scott opens his eyes, he is surprised to see two girls sleeping with him, which means that he had played with the pinkies of two girls at the same time last night. He quickly picks up the lamp and starts running away from there. And from there he comes to a shop. It was an antique shop, where ancient and priceless things were available. Next we see Luigi, the owner of that shop, who always kept his shop open. Scott asks him if magic lamps and jinns really exist. Luigi says that everything is possible in this world. I have even seen such jinns who make humans beat their pinkies day and night. Now after listening to this Scott comes to a public bathroom, and sitting there he rubs that lamp many times. But when nothing comes out of it, he keeps it there and goes to pee. But then Beauty comes to him and says that I have never seen a man with such a small penis. By the way, I know you. Your name is Scott. Now Scott gets scared after seeing her, and says, who are you? And how do you know me? Beauty says that I am a jinn. But when Scott does not believe her, Beauty says that you can ask any wish from me and see. Hearing this, Scott says that I want to change my clothes. Now on hearing this, the genie fulfills his wish by snapping her fingers. Seeing this, Scott gets shocked, and he is completely convinced that the girl standing in front of him is really a genie. Later, both of them go for a walk on the beach, where that genie was visible only to Scott, and apart from him, no one else could see her. That is why the rest of the people start considering Scott as crazy. Later Scott brings Beauty to meet his friends. But even his friends cannot see her. Then Scott wishes that they too can see Beauty. And as soon as his wish is fulfilled, the genie starts appearing to his friends too. Now his friends also become very happy after seeing Beauty, because they felt that now both of them can also play with her pinky. Later Scott asks for his next wish, and says that I want a club. Beauty fulfills this wish of his too. Now all three of them are surprised. After seeing that club, and quickly come inside that club, they see that that club had all kinds of amenities. Then the genie tells Scott that I can fulfill not just 2 or 3 of your wishes, but all of them. Meanwhile, Scott sees Paris picking up garbage outside. Now because it was Paris who helped Scott get Beauty, he calls Beauty to him, and asks her for some money. Beauty fulfills his wish. He then comes to Paris and says that he wants to give her some money, because my life has changed because of her. But Paris does not take money from him. And he tells her that he just wants a good job. Now after hearing this, Scott brings him to his club, and tells him about Beauty. Then on Scott's insistence Paris also starts seeing Beauty. After which Scott makes Paris his manager, and offers her a hefty salary. Later, when Scott and his friends were watching TV together, they see a beauty contest in it. Seeing this, Scott tells Jeannie to organize this beauty contest in his club. Then Jeannie fulfills his wish. After a while we see that Scott club is crowded with people, and many beautiful girls from all over the country and abroad come to Scott club. Diana was also participating in this contest, and Scott was roaming around wagging his tail behind her. Then the next day when Jeannie and Scott were walking on the beach, then Scott tells her that I like Diana very much, and I want to play her pinky at any cost. He wanted Beauty to make Diana crazy for him by using her magic. But then Beauty tells him that my magic cannot make anyone fall in love. I can fulfill all your wishes except this wish. I cannot awaken love for you in her heart. She tells him that I can train you, so that you can easily woo any girl, and make her a butterfly's bat. After which both of them have dinner together. During this time, Beauty kept correcting whatever mistakes Scott was making. Then after dinner both of them dance. And Beauty was correcting his mistakes while dancing. The next night on Scott's invitation Diana comes to have dinner with him. Later, both of them talk a lot to each other. And they start getting closer to each other. Then the next morning, when Scott comes to the club, he tells Beauty everything as soon as he comes. He says that it was because of you that I was able to play Diana's pinky last night. We see that Scott had started considering Beauty as his good friend. And Beauty also started liking Scott. And she started liking him in her heart. That very night when Scott and Diana were working in the room, Beauty secretly started watching their program. She got jealous on seeing them, and she casts a spell on Scott to stop him. Due to which Scott started seeing different people instead of Diana. Seeing this, Scott got scared, and was not able to work with Diana. Then the next morning we see that Scott got very angry at Beauty, because he came to know that last night she was the one who had spoiled his work by doing magic. Beauty tells him that I had given you training, so that you could fall in love with Diana, and marry her. But you started flirting with her as soon as you wooed her. On this, Scott tells him that you should not interfere in my matters. You just have to do as much work as you are told. And if you can't do that too, then it's okay. My next wish is that you go back to where you came from. Now the genie while crying fulfills this wish of his as well. After which Scott leaves from there. We see that he had broken Beauty's heart. After which Beauty packs her things, and goes back to the same lamp. Here we come to know that if a genie goes back to his lamp, then he can stay on this earth only till that night. And Beauty was also on this earth only tonight. After which she will go back to her djinn. On the other hand, Scott and Diana start working as laborers again. But now Scott's attention was going towards Beauty again and again. And he was remembering all the moments spent with her. Actually, now he too had fallen in love with Beauty. Then Scott stops Diana right there, and says that I cannot play your pinky. As soon as he comes out of the room, Paris tells him that Beauty is in this lamp, and she is on this earth only till tonight, after which she will have to leave from here. Actually Paris knew all this, because Beauty had told him everything before leaving. Then Scott picks up the lamp and runs away, puts it in Luigi's shop and tells him everything that I found a Genie inside this lamp. But I got angry and asked him to leave from here. Luigi asks, what do you want from me now? To which Scott tells him that I want to apologize to Beauty. But now she cannot come out. Because now all her powers are gone. Then Luigi explains to her that the Genie cannot come out of this lamp. But she can hear your words inside this lamp. He says that I had read in a book that if a Genie falls in love with a human, then all the powers of that Genie are lost. And all the wishes that she had fulfilled are also lost. After which that Genie becomes an ordinary girl. Now Scott had very little time left. He knew that if he apologized to Beauty and expressed his love to her, then everything would be over for him. Because now he too had started loving her. That is why he quickly apologized to her and said that I love you very much. And I want to be with you always. Now on hearing this, Beauty comes out of the lamp. She forgave Scott. After which, both of them were going to go home and do labor by breaking the bed. Friends, this is where the story ends. So friends, we learn from today's story that if you find a beautiful Genie, then woo her and keep her with you, so that you do not lack anything in life. Thanks for watching. For more movies explanation, subscribe to our channel.